The architecture of propaganda, something I've talked about for a while. We do a lot of media analysis and criticism on this program. We also like to look beyond a chart or headline and really explain how you can deceive with statistics, charts, or graphic visualizations. But it all starts with Pam Bondi, Donald Trump's attorney general, who posted a tweet that accidentally praised Joe Biden. And then once she was called out for it, she quietly deleted the tweet. So let me explain to you what this is. Pam Bondi put out a tweet with a chart, which was meant to be proof that Donald Trump has been extraordinarily successful in reducing the number of drug overdoses. And when you look closely at the data, you realize that that is not what the chart shows. So first and foremost, what did Pam write? She wrote, quote, "Since day one, the Trump administration and this Department of Justice have been fighting to end the drug epidemic in our country. President Trump closed the border. DOJ agents have seized hundreds of millions of potentially lethal fentanyl doses. We are aggressively prosecuting blah, blah, blah." And there is a chart which looks like something goes up and then it comes down. And the implication is that down is good and down is because of Donald Trump. However, and I'm guessing many of you know exactly where this is going. Let's take a closer look at the chart. This is a chart of annual drug overdose deaths in the United States. Pam Bondi posted it to make Trump look good. We have chart go down at end, right? Just very, it's like out of the Flintstones, very rudimentary. Chart go down, Trump good. Good for Trump. Well, not really. If you look at the label, this is a chart that looks at the period October 2015 to October 2024. And if memory serves me correctly, President Joe Biden was in office in October of 2024. And would you look at that, overdose deaths declined. Maybe even more notable, from 2017 to 2021, when Donald Trump was in office, overdose deaths went up. Now, to be totally frank with you, I don't play politics with this stuff. I just tell you about gas prices and what affects them. Doesn't matter who's in office. And this is kind of a nonsense way of praising or criticizing Trump or Biden. The reality is that overdose deaths just aren't tied that closely to the president in Washington, D.C. And also the decline in October and the last part of 2024 that's on the chart, which was, of course, under Joe Biden, only gets us down to the same elevated level of the first term of Donald Trump. So this is a very silly way to look at the issue. But the political stakes are what are very clear here, because Pam Bondi posted this for one reason and one reason alone, and that is to praise Donald Trump. And the chart that she posted fails to praise Trump because it doesn't include Trump's second term there. And once she realized it, she removed the tweet. And this is where it stops being like a silly oops kind of thing and becomes something that I think is far more important. Pam Bondi did not post this because she misunderstood the chart. She posted it because it looked like proof of what she was trying to argue. And this is how propaganda works in Trump world. You don't start with facts. You start with the conclusion, Trump good. You start there. Then you go hunting for, can I find a chart? Can I find a statistic? Can I find a screenshot that appears to support my conclusion, which is Trump good? The fact that the data didn't really show that is kind of secondary. If it fits the idea of what you're trying to argue, you post it. And if you get called out because it turns out that it doesn't, you delete it. And that is exactly what happened here. Now, overdose data, interestingly enough, there's a real conversation here about the underlying data. Overdose data is especially easy to abuse, which makes this worse because drug overdose deaths are really not linked in any tight way to whoever is president at the moment. Number one, overdose deaths lag policy by years. Secondly, it's often not really about policy. Overdose deaths can be affected by the fentanyl purity. I hate to acknowledge that, but fentanyl purity can have a lot more to do with the number of deaths than a lot of this other stuff. Is there job instability and economic stress, which does come down from economic policy, but it has a relatively slower effect? What's the regional healthcare capacity and how equipped are different regions, states, and municipalities to deal with overdoses, but to save people? And the point here is A lot of those forces don't flip because a new president is sworn in. Trump came in and dumped massive blanket tariffs on the world. That immediately had an effect. The drug overdose deaths, even the decline in 2024 under Biden, it didn't really fix the problem. It was only loosely even connected to presidential policy. And so what we really have to consider here is that not only does this chart not prove Trump saved lives, because it doesn't include this first year of Donald Trump in office, you can't really assess policy on drugs by just looking at who is in the Oval Office. And that applies in a lot of areas and not in others. And I've always been completely upfront with you about where it does and where it doesn't. But Pam Bondi humiliated again. And remember, the goal of posting this stuff is not really to inform. And it is only based in a desire to pray at the altar of the orange president who they worship. That's at the bottom line what this is. Thanks for watching. Check out this other video. And if you like our content, make sure to subscribe so YouTube puts our videos in your feed, and subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple.